Jeremy, welcome to Podcastina.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here.
I'm delighted.
What are you looking forward to right now?
I don't know. Monty's been giving me good snuggles. I'm kind of looking forward to that again. But, you mean in life probably?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I just, comedy's fun. I'm kind of changing careers a little bit in terms of medicine. So that's kind of fun too.
Oh yeah. Can you tell me more about that? Because I only know just a little surface about your background.
I'm like board certified as an anesthesiologist, but I was doing pain management for like 10 years and I kind of got sick of it. So I quit my job and now I'm going to kind of go back and do a refresher because I've been out of anesthesia for like 10 years and then just go back to working part-time.
What have you learned about anesthesia that's like surprised you?
Surprising? I don't know. It's always kind of weird the things people say when they're a little sedated. Yeah, that can be a little surprising. I had somebody kind of started saying things that sounded like state secrets. And I was like, yeah, I really kind of think you should stop talking right now. So, but that's probably the biggest thing. But I haven't done like just straight anesthesia for like 10 years. I mean, I've done like sedation because I would sedate people and do, spinal procedures.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's a fun topic.
It is. No, I'm so fascinated. I always think that I'm so grateful most people are not like me because I'm squeamish and we would have no doctors. We would have nobody in the medical fields. Like I can't even listen to people describe their injuries. I was just with someone who broke his ankle and he snapped his Achilles tendon.
Oh no.
And even just thinking about it, I start to get like so physically uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird because you kind of learn to block a lot of that stuff out. And then, I had a moment where I used to implant spinal cord stimulators, do the surgery. And then I had an injury and I was taking Lyrica, which is a medication for like nerve pain because I had injured my spine. And anyway, I was going in to do a surgery and then I just was like a bit dissociated and I was like, this is crazy. Like it hit me. I'm like, what I'm doing is weird. Like I'm like cutting open a person. This is so weird. And I stopped doing that like 4 or 5 years ago.
When you're in that space, do you kind of have to dissociate? Because I'm sure you've probably come across people dying and like not having good results.
Yeah, for sure. Like there's a lot of that, that's like, people develop that training in like, sports and then also military and then medicine. I mean, I had a moment one time where I had a terrible outcome in the ICU and I was in the elevator right after it happened with a neurosurgery resident. So a neurosurgeon, and he broke down and started crying. And I just looked at him. I said, I'm going to wait till I get home. Because I was trying to be like, yeah, I get it. And I'm not a monster, but I'm going to try to wait. Thanks.
Yeah.
Because I still, I'm about to go to the cafeteria and I don't want to be like, So yeah, for sure.
Do you ever get to a point where it's even possible to not bring it home with you?
I mean, it's such a big topic because it's sort of like people compartmentalize all the time. I think the bigger problem is you get very good at sort of locking things away and then you kind of never know when they're going to manifest. And so I think the more difficult thing is to sort of like every once in a while defrost your emotions and just sort of take time to unpack all the stuff that happened. And it's weird to me because I've seen this happen to other people and I've experienced it too, where you go through something and then it doesn't hit you until years later. And then it's all you can think about. And I was talking to a friend one time, it's like about it. And it's like, it's weird because sometimes like when I know that I'm going through that process, it's like I start to have feelings again. And it's like, oh man, this sucks. And it's almost like if you've ever been in the cold really bad, like on the point of almost getting frostbite, like it doesn't hurt. You're kind of numb. But then once you kind of start to warm up, then it really actually hurts. But that pain is good because you're warming up. And that's kind of what it feels like emotionally, I think.
It's such like a character building thing to have to go through. I mean, probably there's people you hear that like if someone's a certain type of surgeon, sometimes like sociopathy is common among them. Yes. And maybe it has to be, but for anybody that's not on that level of it, it's like, what an emotional challenge.
Yeah, I think the real challenge is to do those difficult things and remain human. Because boy, we jumped right into it, didn't we?
Yeah, I get serious fast on here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've met surgeons that I legit believe are psychopaths. I mean, I met this guy, just like a glazed over look in his eye, and I thought, I referred to him because his partner was so good, and he was like the big respected surgeon in town and had been the president of the medical board. And I thought, well, surely he wouldn't be partners with this guy if he wasn't good. And then I referred 2 patients to him that did horribly. And then I ended up talking to another one of the partners, and they're like, no, that guy is awful. And anyway, so, and I, of course, I go through, like, I regret sending those patients. I didn't know, but yeah, I definitely think there's some, as you put it, sociopathy. I used to know this doctor, and he would just, the way he would talk about his patients, it was crazy. I mean, the way he would talk about his own staff. I mean, everybody was effing B, and I was like, wow, okay. So anyway, but there's a lot of surgeons that are, I've met a lot of wonderful, great people that, just are doing great things. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that exists in any profession at all. It's just scary the amount of like responsibility in the medical fields that you have with that, and hearing horror stories. And I remember really enjoying the podcast like Dr. Death, and then the show that came after it, and being like, oh geez, that's out there too. That was wild.
That was the guy, wasn't that the guy who's like buying his own like screws from hardware stores?
Probably.
And then charging the hospital and implanting them, coming in drunk and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because, again, like most people in the medical field, hardworking, great people that care a lot, but like even in medical school, it's like I was surprised at how many weirdos there were. You know what I mean? I thought it's like, man, it's selective enough. I thought you'd be able to weed out some of these weirdos, but people with just like clear personality disorders, and I don't know. I guess it takes all kinds. I don't know.
It definitely does. It always causes a moment of like introspection for me when I think someone's a good person, and then I like learn otherwise, and then I get mad at myself for not catching it. Like I recently learned that a comedian who I thought was like an angel is like a sociopath.
Oh, really?
And now that I know, I kind of see his like online behavior for what it is, but I'm like so mad at myself that I fell for the mask.
Yeah. I've also fallen victim to that sort of thing. You meet someone, they see cool, but a lot of the people that you only really see one side of them. And then, time eventually.
You have to keep petting him.
I know what you're saying. I know. Monty and I are well acquainted. Yeah, no, I mean, I've fallen for that too, where it's like, oh man, I had no idea. But, people kind of show you the side of themselves that they want you to see, It's just, you feel kind of dumb because it's like, wow, I fell for it, so.
I try to pride myself on catching it, because there's been a couple times when I've like caught it early with new people.
Yeah.
And then I'll get judged for being very judgmental, and then it'll turn out that I was right, and I go,
yeah.
I knew it. Like there was a comedian in LA who I always kind of got weird vibes from him, and everybody would tell me when I would be like cold to him, they would go, "No, he's autistic. You got to understand. You got to give him space because he's autistic and be more forgiving." Turned out he was spiking girls' drinks, and I was like, "Aha! I knew it."
Wow. Yeah. What was the vibe you got from him that made you think?
Oh God, there was just like something in his eyes that wasn't right. And he was
Really?
like a super close talker. And I would always like take a step back and then he would like close the space. And I suppose that could be autistic behavior, but there was something nefarious under the surface where I was
Really?
like, something's just wrong with him and I can't pinpoint it. It's just a vibe. And then that news came out that he had been spiking girls' drinks and I just felt so vindicated.
Oh, ugh. You're like, I knew it.
Yeah.
I'm glad it happened. Now everybody knows. No, I don't know. It's weird. I mean, I feel like I've met so many manipulative people through, well, because what happens is like, as a doctor, people come in and they have an agenda, and it's so transparent after a while. It's like you see thousands and thousands of people. It's like, I know exactly what you want and why you're here. Why don't you just say it instead of talking about, your church volunteer activities and all these things. And then on your way out being like, oh, by the way, oxycodone really helps. It's like, okay. I knew from the beginning, like, so, but yeah, sometimes people are just good at masking stuff and, and what can you do? What can you do, Monty?
In pain management, I would imagine you probably dealt with that so much because it's like people go to that for drugs.
A lot of them, yeah. And I got to the point where, I mean, pretty early on, I was, you can basically check like a prescription monitoring database and you can just kind of look at their activities. So pretty early on, I figured out I would just screen people. And if I suspected that's the reason why they were coming in, I just wouldn't see them. But then, you get into these gray areas where you have somebody like a primary care doctor next door who, basically has had somebody on it for a long time. And, you're like, well, maybe they're coming over so that you can wean it because they really don't know how, but it always ends up being a mess. And right, Monty? Yeah. So, yeah, I think I wouldn't even, the only way I would prescribe like those stronger type of medications, the rule was like you had to have a broken bone.
Oh, wow.
Like recently broken, like within 2 weeks. Otherwise, you got to figure something else out. And the other big racket in pain management was like, it's like, look, a lot of people are just fat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like nobody wants to hear that. But like truly, you just need sit-ups and like less snacks.
Yeah.
So
did you see, I don't know if I'm so chronically online, so I'll preface this with that, but there was a debate between Jillian Michaels and a bunch of people who are body positivity representatives.
Oh, I did not see that, but I would have loved to see that.
Yeah, it's circulating all over TikTok. And I haven't watched the long form, but I think I would be too irate to get through it. But to the body positivity people, they're like, oh, well, the word obese is a form of fat shaming. And it's like, it's a medical word. What are we doing? We've gone so far into the extreme of that. And I've also seen stories from people who used to be in like the body positivity movement. And then they saw through it because the other influencers that were in that started dying from being fat.
Yeah.
And it's just so wild to watch these conversations and have these people like just lost in the depths of nuance and getting mad at language when it's like, if you were really happy about this, you probably wouldn't be that offended, actually.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's sort of like, you can be kind and not mean and not cruel and just treat people well without celebrating something that's not good for you. Mm-hmm. Like, are they going to start celebrating smokers now? It's like,
right.
I don't know. It's kind of a no-brainer. I don't know.
I think so too. And being fat doesn't mean you don't have self-worth. Like self-worth shouldn't come from how much you weigh, but you should also understand that it's a medical issue.
Sure. I mean, and it's like, again, you know, it's like, yeah, you don't have to feel bad about it, you know, but like, let's not pretend like it's wonderful, you know, let's not celebrate it. I don't know. There's a lot of weird ideas out there. I was talking to somebody about this a while ago. Like I had somebody like literally, when I went to Ukraine, like get upset because I suggested to the team to put on their seatbelts, and it was so weird because it was like, this is a health professional, and they're like, "How dare you tell a young woman what to do with her body?" Well, first of all, I just said it to everybody in our truck, and there was like 2 women in the truck. You know what I mean? But it was like, we're healthcare professionals. The chances of something happening to us, like a heart attack, a drone attack, like anything, far, far less than just getting in a car accident. It's a no-brainer, you know? But like to be upset about that was such an insane thing. It's like, this is not about telling somebody what to do with their body. This is common sense. So anyway.
That's so fascinating because my stepdad hates to wear a seatbelt. I wonder if it's a Ukrainian thing. I don't know. Every time, like once cars started having that feature where they beep if you don't put the seatbelt on, there's never been a time where I've been in the car with him where that thing hasn't gone off. And then it's me going, put your fucking seatbelt on. I don't want to hear the alarm anymore.
Right.
I don't know why he's so anti-seatbelt. I wonder if it's a cultural thing.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the thing is, it used to not be. I mean, here it's against the law not to wear your seatbelt, right? I think. I mean,
it is. Yeah.
So, like, and if you don't have your kids put on their seatbelts, I mean, that's like child abuse or something. It's considered, I think, negligence. But like, yeah, I mean, I vaguely remember when it wasn't against the law, and I'd be like, yeah, well, of course I'm not going to put it on because what are the chances something's going to happen? But I don't know. It's, yeah, maybe it is just I think it's human nature. Maybe I don't know. It just seems like in the moment I was like, seriously, we're going to argue about this? Like, put on your freaking seatbelt. Like, it's not that big of a deal. What are you going to tell people? Don't wear condoms? Like, don't, you know what I mean? Like, drink as much as you want. Like, I don't know. It's crazy.
People are silly.
I don't know.
We've lost the ability for nuance. People can't like hold two truths at once. It's really, really complicated for people.
Yeah. Is that a brain rot thing or has it always been that way?
It's hard to say because before everybody else's opinions weren't like down our throats so much and we didn't have to have feedback from everybody else.
That's right.
And we were all just fed the same narratives that were on cable TV and that's it.
Right.
And with the internet, you just have to hear everything from everybody all the time. So
that's it. Yeah. You know, because it's like 50% of all people are below average.
Yeah.
Right. And so you're hearing that constantly. Yeah. I just saw something. It was like about Mark Norman. And it was like the comments were so insane because it was like not at all what the article was about. And I just thought, wow, people are stupid. But what am I going to do? Argue with stupid people online?
Yeah.
So
I sometimes will argue with stupid people online because it just helps push my content out further because the algorithm just sees, oh, the comments are going crazy. So it like pushes it out. Ugh. But it was one of my New Year's resolutions that I'm failing at horribly to not argue with people.
Well, they say don't wrestle with pigs.
Yeah.
You know, you both get dirty and the pig likes it. So.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll work on it. I just have to keep reminding myself that having anything in your personality that's paradoxical is going to confuse the ever-loving shit out of people.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's okay. I mean, that's okay. I think about like pretty much anybody who has been successful in any public arena, there's always a lot of haters.
Of course.
Right? But it's like you can't have an opinion without having a lot of haters. So.
And you can't have success without having an opinion.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know, Monty. What do you think?
Well, I'd love to know, what is it that made you want to go to Ukraine?
Man, I don't even really know. I think it honestly was kind of an impulse thing. I think it was just kind of a time. So I was like kind of tired of pain management. I was kind of tired of my job. I was kind of burnt out, I think, just not feeling like, I don't know, maybe like a bit of disgust in the medical system and not really even wanting to be a doctor anymore. And I had not, at that point, decided to quit. And when I say I quit my job, like it was my practice. So like I actually had to quit other people's jobs too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was hard. Like I had to fire people, which is probably, if I didn't have to do that, I would have quit a long time ago. And then I was like I read about it in the newspaper every day. And I think that part of it is I definitely remember feeling a moment where it's like, this is so dumb that like I'm stressed about some diva in the comedy world giving me a hard time about not letting somebody on a show, all these stupid things. And there's like real stuff going on. And then I just went down the rabbit hole. I got on, I think it was like Ukraine Ministry of Health website, and they had some. And the more I was reading about it, it was like the type of people they need are like, some military people and doctors. And I kind of had both of that. And so I just started emailing people and got linked up with this group, Global Care Force. And so, yeah, that's kind of what got me out. And I went last summer, and then I went over Christmas time too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So in what capacity did you go?
Mostly like as a primary care doctor. So what they do is they send out teams of like 2 or 3 doctors and like 2 nurses. And then we have like Ukrainian counterparts. And we basically buy all of our medications in the country. And we go to areas. So we go to 2 basically type of areas, refugee centers, and we go to areas that were previously occupied by the Russians that then have since then been, retaken by Ukrainians. And so people who basically just don't have access to healthcare. So we go and we see patients, primary care, a lot of heart disease, the big one, a lot of like obvious insomnia, anxiety, that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's what we do.
What'd you see while you were there?
Like patient wise or like overall?
Overall.
Well, so like, I guess the thing is that kind of surprises people is how like resilient people are during wartime, because I didn't spend a lot of time in Kyiv, but like we, on the way in and out, we spend a night in Kyiv, and people are just going about their normal business. They're going out to eat. But there's kind of like a heaviness, and heaviness obviously because everybody knows somebody who's in the front lines or they've lost somebody already. So, and then when I went in May. So when I went over Christmas time, there was definitely like they're having issues with power a little bit. So they had like kind of rolling, but the Ukrainians are so smart. I mean, they have like this app. It tells you exactly if you're going to be out of power, when you're going to be out.
Oh, wow.
And so everybody knows exactly when they're not going to have power. And they have generators all over the city. So it's almost kind of like a mild nuisance or inconvenience. So that's like in Kyiv, and then you go out in the villages, and the villages are, you kind of see the effects, right? You still see some, bombed out buildings and that kind of thing. You still see the landmines, like the fields. Some of them have been cleared, some of them haven't, but
Wow.
they're marked. Like one of them was marked just by like a white T-shirt, but like what I mean. They're still marked, so you just kind of stay on the roads. And the people in the villages are it's very rural. It's not that different than like if you ever drive into Mexico and go to some of those smaller towns like Morelos out in the country, like kind of, small houses like that, farmland. And then the refugee centers are, usually in the bigger cities, like Cherkasy is one of them, Vapniarka. And, they're, the whole thing is like Ukraine's a nice place, like I was thinking about it the other day. I actually feel like even during war, I feel safer in Kyiv than I do in downtown Austin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And in fact, I think while I was there, might have been right before I left, there was a shooting on 6th Street right next to the garage I park at. And I just thought, oh man, I'm glad I'm safe over here in Kyiv, So, but yeah, I mean, it's the whole thing, once I went the first time, it was sort of like, it's just like one of those things where it's such a good organization. I feel lucky I found them. And the people there, I mean, to say they're like a family, it is, but it's like all the funny stuff about family. Like one of the doctors, Ukrainian doctors, brother is married to another one of the Ukrainian doctor's sisters, and they just constantly bicker. And they're, one of them is always correcting the other guy's English, and he's getting frustrated. and it's just like, it's like never ending comedy for me watching them fight. But yeah, so I don't know. Once I went over the first time, I was like, I really look forward to going back just to see the same people that I worked with. And also, there's not really that many opportunities in life where you can feel like I'm actually doing something that's like unequivocally good. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying anything about the war or who, it's just like just people who need help that you're helping, so that's kind of nice.
It's a life dream of mine to go back because I've never been back. I left. Really? Yeah. We left. I was just about to turn 5.
Okay.
So I really don't have what I would consider to be like my own original memories. I have what I think are memories. And then there's a lot of footage. My grandpa used to like record everything. Yeah. So I remember like all the home movies and stuff from there. But how much of that is actually like my memory, I don't know. And I'm pretty sure, I think my mom had expressed to me that like half of the building that we grew up in got bombed. So I don't know if they then had to take out the whole building, if like the whole apartment complex got like kind of cleared out.
And are you from Odessa?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've never gotten a chance to go back. We were going to go visit it like right before the war broke out because my grandpa's twin brother had passed from COVID.
Yeah.
In 21. And my grandpa had gone back, I think once or twice, like in the years after we came here, but I just never got to because my family was like, oh, they work these kind of traditional office jobs where they get like 2-3 weeks vacation. They want to go lay on the beach. Like the last thing they want to do is go back to Ukraine. They don't have these like feelings about it like I do, where I'm like, oh, it's this mystery part of me that I just don't know and have never gotten to like connect with like that. And so they were never interested in going back, but I always have been.
Yeah.
But like, it's not like I can go there in a tourist capacity right now.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I think you definitely should. I mean, it's so... it's a beautiful country, and it's like even just taking the train through, from, the Poland into Kyiv. I mean, it's like a 13-hour overnight train ride, but it's just beautiful. And I don't know, like even their gas stations, like they have this gas station. I think it's OKKO, and I think they pronounce it Oko. Oko, I think is how they pronounce it. But it's like, dude, I love these gas stations. I would look forward to pulling over because like their food is amazing. Like they have like a full like cafeteria of, whatever, like salmon, like good food. Right. And, but yeah, I mean, you could go there, but it's probably wouldn't be a good time to go to Odessa, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't think it's safe. My dream, I have a distant dream that perhaps once the war is over and there's, I'm sure, like a Habitat for Humanity or some kind of rebuilding effort, I think it would be cool to go over there in some kind of helpful capacity too. Like I don't really have any skills to contribute other than that at some point maybe I can go back and like help nail some 2x4s or something.
But I think even if you just go just for the sake of going after, I think that's good for the country, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's good. And I think you would enjoy it, but you know, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's a place you can easily fall in love with. I mean, it's just such a rich culture and history, and you know, I almost wish that like, because when we go, it's like it's so busy. Like from the moment we get there, which I like because you know it's like you don't want to go there and not do anything,
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it would be nice to go there sometime and just sort of walk around the city and see, you know, whatever, have a cup of coffee.
What food did you like over there?
Well, I think what I'm supposed to say is borscht because everybody likes borscht. And the borscht is good. I mean, it's fine.
Did you eat it with thick cloves of garlic and black bread?
It definitely the black bread, and then there was this. Is it fat? I mean, there's like a little. It looks like a pat of butter. Yeah, I forgot what it's called. This guy would be so mad at me if his name is.
Or no, it's Salya.
That might be it. Yeah, Lev would be so mad because he would explain it, and I would. It's like after the third time, I tune him out. But yeah, you spread the thing on the black bread, and so the borscht is good. Honestly, I think I ordered a lot of just like fish and vegetables because one of the doctors there is like so forceful about like feeding us snacks that I'm like, dude, I can't eat this many snacks in a day. Like he's very much a very hospitable type of guy. Like he wants to, and it's like, yeah, you need to chill with the snacks because I have snacks coming out of my eyeballs. Like this is crazy.
That's so a thing. That's so common.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I grew up with my grandma being like, "Are you hungry?" every 5 seconds. And she would ask me that in the middle of me eating. I'm like, I'm eating right now, currently. And you're asking me if I'm hungry.
No, it's crazy. Yeah. Cause we would go to these like little villages and it would be like a little tiny house. And we would set up clinic in there and it'd be, tiny and we're busy. And this guy, who's by the way, a brilliant doctor, but he would come in and he's like, Jeremy, you want some tea? You want some coffee? And I'm like, oh, sure. And then he'd bring me these little cakes. I'm like, okay. And then he would come back like 10 minutes later with the same thing. And I'm like, dude, I'm still working on the last cake and coffee. But he's like, well, I'll make you another one. And he just constantly,
and you have to eat it or you're kind of being insulting.
Yeah, I kind of feel, well, what I started doing is just kind of sneaking it into my backpack, like packing it in there. But even that was like, oh my God, because then you're in the car and you're like, I got all these snacks in here because they are delicious. The snacks are good.
Oh yeah. The gingerbread. The little mounds.
Yeah, I don't remember that. So there's all these little candies that you'd give us, but also these like little chocolate cakes and these other kind of, and I think honey cake is big over there, right? Mm-hmm. Which I saw honey cake somewhere here the other day, and I was like, ooh. But yeah, the little chocolate cakes, little honey cakes.
Did you have a lot of like pierogies and dumplings?
Yes. Definitely. I love the dumplings.
Oh, so good. I just found out there's it's a Georgian grocery store out in I think like Round Rock or something. So I'm like, nice. I gotta go because they have a lot of the like really Eastern European snacks. And I'm like, I'm gonna have to make the trip.
Interesting.
I always crave their cherry dumplings. They're like dessert dumplings.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The cherry dumplings is like a great dessert. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was one meal where we just got a bunch of different type of dumplings, like potato dumplings. I think was the best one. I don't even like cabbage dumplings. That was really good. And then like for dessert, cherry dumplings.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Did you eat caviar?
I don't think I had caviar there. Is that pretty common?
It is, yeah. So the orange one, which is I guess like the cheaper one, which are the bigger eggs. It's really common to have a piece of bread with butter and then the caviar on top of that.
You know what? Actually, now I remember that was on the menu. I remember one of the Ukrainians talking about that, and he made some joke about the fish eggs. But I didn't. I'm not like a super adventurous eater. I'm gonna, especially when I'm hungry. I'm like, let's just stick to the basics, So I actually ate a lot of pizza.
Oh.
Yeah, this place they had good pizza, and honestly, it's not even because I wanted to have pizza. I made a joke when I was there, and So when I was there over the summer, I had just said, like, what if we all ordered pizza? We had a pizza party and we like shared each other's pizza, you know? And then we did that. And then when I came back over Christmas, the main doctor there was like, pizza party. And he like made a big deal of it. We ordered like every kind of pizza. And yeah. And I don't normally eat pizza. I mean, I love pizza, but it's like, you know, it's like, you know, I can have one piece of pizza and gain 5 pounds.
Yeah.
So
What's Ukrainian pizza like?
it's just like good pizza.
Oh.
I mean, it's just like, yeah. I mean, and this was in a place that was like kind of like along the Black Sea. Mykolaiv is the name of the city.
Yeah, I've got cousins there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not that far. I think maybe like 30 minutes from yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I mean, great food.
Is that a hard hit area, would you say?
Early on it was, but they never took the city. So they took like all the regions around it. There's like this story that the Ukrainians told me that I thought was pretty hilarious. I guess it was like the governor of Mykolaiv was in his office building, and then when the Russians invaded, I guess they got up to the city, and then the Ukrainians fought them back, and he did like a live television interview where he was just sitting at his desk like with a cigar and he's like, good evening, we are Ukraine, you know, just like, and that's like a thing they just keep saying. It's like, oh, it's not going to be the same as everywhere else. So anyway, but yeah, so they've definitely had their issues. You know, I looked out when I was there both times where, you know, the air sirens would go off, but I didn't personally like hear or see anything. One of our guys could hear, because I think we were like less than 10 kilometers, like less than 10 miles from some shelling. And so like one of the guys could hear it. I couldn't hear it. But yeah, other than that, like the actual like fighting, I didn't, you know, one of the guys said that when he was there before, he could see the drones flying in between the buildings of our hotel.
Wow.
But man, when I'm in the hotel, I have my headphones on and I'm, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, you know, I'm like not even there. So.
That's so gnarly.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Had you experienced anything like similar to that before?
Yeah. I mean, because I spent like 2 years back and forth in the Philippines, like when they were in a place in the Philippines where they were fighting the Abu Sayyaf group and then these different like separatist groups. And I did the security for a general. It's kind of weird. I think that there's something about, I just feel pretty normal in those situations, and in all other situations I feel incredibly bored and frustrated, you know, because to me that whole being there didn't feel like stressful, or you feel the heaviness, right? But like, yeah, so I don't know.
Were the Ukrainians good patients?
Yeah, they were, but but it is kind of funny because like they are so much just like any patient anywhere. You know what I mean? Like I remember talking to this guy and like he had, you know, angina. So, right, you know, he had chest pain with exertion. And you could just tell he smokes like a chimney. I mean, you can smell it on him. His fingers are orange, you know? And I told the translator, I said, hey, you know, you really, like, even if you're able to cut back a little bit, you're going to help yourself a lot, because the smoking with heart disease, like, it's going to make it worse. And then the guy just goes, blah, 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 blah. And I stopped the translator and I said, you can tell him that I don't need you to translate because I've heard this same BS from so many people. Like, I already know what you're saying. Like, just stop, and he's not going to. So we just kind of laughed about it. And, but yeah, I mean, good patients. They're funny too, because like some of them, especially in the villages, are very hardy. Like there was this lady, and I guess I like to think I'm pretty quick and efficient, but she was like, right in the middle of talking to her, she stands up. She's like, I have to go milk my cow now. And she just ran out. I'm like, what the heck just happened? Like, what happened? Like, and he's like, she has to milk her cow. So I was like, all right, well, I mean, I guess I'll see you. They send teams out every month. So, I mean, she can be seen later, I guess.
It's so like quintessential. And I think like any hardiness or any resilience I have is just from that, having that background and knowing that that's like in my lineage, where then when I'm like going through it here, it's really easy to shift into, okay, well, at least I don't still live in Ukraine, and to try to have that be the thing that gives me perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's out like in the rural places. Cause we did like one day of clinic in Kyiv, and then the team is really good about shifting like to where you're needed. But, we did a clinic in Kyiv one time where it was kind of like, Kyiv is a very modern city, right? And so it was kind of like, I remember talking to this guy, going through all the problems. And then after the whole visit, he reveals that he's actually a doctor. And it's like, okay, like, you know what I mean? And, and then you get people who come in. So like, it's very different, like in the city from the villages. And I think that's probably why we didn't go back, because it was sort of like, these are people who have access to doctors, right? And a lot of it's sort of like, well, I already saw 3 specialists about this, but what do you think? It's like, just take an average of what those other 3 people said, and that's what I think. It's like, so I don't know.
Does it change your perspective on the state of things here because people bitch and moan about how bad the US is?
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess. I mean, the thing is I just don't. A lot of the things that people bitch and moan about, it's so ridiculous. And even with like, the stuff that was going on in Minnesota, it was like, yeah, I mean, it is tragic and it shouldn't have happened. I'm talking specifically about like the protests and the ICE shooters. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yes, it's ridiculous. They should not have been killed. And I attributed that in a large part to, they're probably being too aggressive there, but also the police didn't handle, or the ICE didn't handle the situation properly. But specifically, what I have a problem with is everybody saying, this is a fascist, we live in this fascist society. I'm like, no. There's thousands of people in a very organized way protesting, and some of those people are very clearly harassing and getting in the way of law enforcement, and 2 people have killed, versus Iran, where they're peacefully protesting and the government shuts off the internet, right? So that they can, murder 50,000 people. Not the same.
Not the same.
Very different.
Yeah.
That's fascism, So anyway, I don't want to get too political in here. Ruin the vibe here. But,
yeah, that's okay.
But it's just really crazy. It's like, that's when you have to like stop reading the stupid comments on Instagram, because it's just sort of like, boy, you guys, it's just sort of like, I don't know. It's just like we were saying before, like some people, it's like, I don't even know how you think you should have an opinion. Mm-hmm. You have no idea how, like, things are not perfect and they're not great, and things are going to get worse. Oh, they're going to get so much worse.
For sure. I know. Yeah. I think so too.
Yeah. With AI on the horizon.
Oof.
Dude, I got to tell you this.
Yeah.
All right. This is non sequitur, major pivot, but So there's this report that came out in the AI world that made a lot of waves. It's called the Citrini report, I think is what it's called, like CITRINI. But anyway, it was like about how with AI and the use of these agents, like 50% of white collar jobs are going to go away. And so people are kind of freaking out about this. I read this Kurt Vonnegut novel. It was like his first book, I think, and it was written like 75 years ago. And it was like, I swear to you, it felt like it was talking about what's happening now with AI. It's so crazy.
So what did the report say? Oh, just
what
that
did the
all
report
those
say? Oh,
those
yeah,
jobs will go
basically
away?
a lot of jobs are going to go away. Yeah. So, yeah, and then I went to this. You know, I have like a lot of interest in a lot of things. You know, but like I finagled my way into this Zoom call with these guys who work in AI, and basically a guy who's
Monty.
his job is to go through and replace positions on an org chart with AI agents, and then monitor these AI agents. And somebody in the group said, well, what do you think about this report that AI is going to take away like 50% of white collar jobs? And he's like,
It's true.
yeah. I mean, he was kind of like, he's almost like trying to conceal. He's like, well, it's going to be sad, but it's also exciting. It's like, oh boy. Anyway, but yeah, something's on the horizon, and it's, you know, it's not really like well, I don't know, maybe it is an American thing. It just seems like the gap between the haves and the have-nots keep widening, and it's going to keep going that way.
Yeah, the middle class is just like fizzling out because so many of those jobs are right in that space.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of entry-level jobs that are getting replaced. Like, you make kids go to college, you make it seem like it's this thing that you have to do. And obviously for some professions you do, but for the vast majority of professions where it's people like getting out of school, I got a business and marketing degree and it could not be more useless. I mean, it's been useless for me.
Really?
Basically this entire time. All the jobs that I've had that were like proper jobs, I probably didn't really need that degree for.
Oh, really?
And then now I think the kinds of jobs where I would come out with it that would be like maybe sales or administrative or customer service support or something, like that's the stuff that's going to get replaced first because it's so easy to replace it with like the existing AI infrastructure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of lawyers are going to get hit hard too, a lot of real estate people. You know what's crazy though, with all this sort of like tech innovation, it's sort of like it's all supposed to make your life easier, but it just feels like every time, you know, it's like you go out to eat or something, it's like, okay, it's time to pay. Oh, let me scan this thing and download an app and enter in my credit card. Man, I'm so glad we have all this. You know, I used to just give people money and they'd bring me my change, you know. it really feels like everything is just getting like passed off to consumers, and I don't know.
I'm not that excited about very much of it at all. I mean, there's been a few things I've found useful, but for the most part, yeah, it's so annoying that now I need an app to like park in every parking garage or pay for street parking, or you need an app to like the amount of passwords that I have to have for things
crazy.
Where I'm like, I really don't care if somebody breaks into my Ticketmaster account. I don't care. What are they doing? Buying tickets? Like, no. The amount of times I have to come up with logins for things where I'm like,
that was crazy.
Stop making me log in.
Simple, like daily transactions where it used to be like, okay, well, I'm going to give a $5 bill to the parking lot attendee guy. He's got a job. We make small talk. You know, there's a little human interaction. And then now it's like, oh, okay, well, let me just scan this and go and enter something into a kiosk. And, you know, I had to go get lab work done the other day for like a job physical thing. And it was like, you couldn't even talk to somebody on the phone to figure out if they did the work there. You had to show up, input this stuff on a kiosk, wait, somebody call you back and be like, we don't do that. Okay, thanks. I'll just go drive to the next kiosk. I mean, it's insane.
It's so dystopian.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I might go move into a cabin in the woods or something, you know.
I want to.
Dude, I keep having these like daydreams about digging holes and I'm like, I don't know what that's about. And I was like, so I did ChatGPT. I'm like, why do I keep thinking about digging holes? It's like, it means you're doing deep psychological work. And I'm like, or maybe I just want to bury stuff. I feel like I just want to bury things. I just want to like bury myself and not come out until everything is stable.
Yeah, maybe you're secretly preparing to dig a bunker.
Yeah.
That's the next step.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely on the checklist. That's not so secret. I definitely want a bunker.
Do you think you would do well in an apocalypse?
Not right now. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm like one of those guys that like always thinks about it, you know, but then just never does anything. I bought a bunch of food, you know, food supplies, and then I'm sure it's all expired now. So if you ever want any mac and cheese, it's like 6 years old. I got a lot.
I had to learn about my emergency preparedness, which I have absolutely none, when I was dealing with the LA fires. And I had to like pack a bag. I didn't actually get evacuated, but I was like 3 miles from where the evacuation line was. That's right,
because you still lived there when that happened.
Yeah, I think that was honestly like my last straw in like deciding to move out here.
Wow.
I was just like, okay, that was terrifying. And then I was working as a traveling notary. I had a lot of clients in the Palisades. I was there like every week.
Boy. Yeah.
And so a lot of my clients lost homes, and then I lost work because of that. Plus I knew people, friends, like nobody in LA didn't know someone that hadn't lost a home, because it was just that many, like tens of thousands of structures gone. So everybody knew somebody whose house had burned down.
Yikes.
So that was like so crazy.
It's probably one of those moments where you're like, I wish I was in Ukraine.
Honestly, no, it was so scary that it was like after that, I planned a trip out here just to get out of town. And it was on that trip that I was like, I should probably move to Austin.
Wow. Yeah, because a lot of your friends had already defected.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of them.
A lot of them had. And that just kind of... Anyway, I didn't think I needed to like pack or get ready to go for a while, but then we had this thing called like Watch Duty. It was an app that you would just obsessively be on it, just an anxious mess, looking at where the yellow zone for like pre-evacuation was, and then the red zone for evacuation.
Yeah.
And eventually it like moved down and it started getting closer to me, and I was like, well, I don't have anything. I have no preparation whatsoever of like what I'm supposed to take with me, what I would want to take with me. So I had to like really, like, I just was so unprepared as far as what I even thought I wanted to take.
Yeah.
So the suitcase that I had, it was like, thank God I didn't end up needing it, because I would have forgotten so many key items.
Oh no. Yeah. Oof. Yeah. It's a wake up call, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing. We've had so many wake up calls. I mean, you've had the fire, but like we all had COVID, and then we had the big freeze where it like knocked out everybody's power. And after each one of these, everybody's like, well, I'm going to get an off the grid generator and, you know, solar panels and, you know, my own water supply. And it's like, and then a couple weeks go by, you're like, meh, maybe I won't.
Back to normal.
Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know, man. I like that idea, but I don't know. I don't think I think farm life is kind of hard.
Yeah, it seems really, really difficult.
Yeah.
Like waking up I mean, I guess that's why we still do daylight savings, is for the farm folks.
Sure, maybe. Is that why?
I guess so. That's what they say.
I think we're all just addicted to the convenience, you know? It's really nice, you know, some days it'd just be like, I'm going to get a sausage egg McMuffin this morning, you know?
Yeah.
And I do that sometimes, about once every 2 weeks.
I kind of wish I could do a reverse Rumspringa, like what the Amish do, where they go live a normal life for a little bit.
Oh, they do that?
A non-Amish life. Yeah. I think when they turn 18, they take it. And it's so they can test out non-Amish life and see if it's right for them or not.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to do a reverse one where I go live Amish for a while and then see if I want to come back to a non-Amish life.
Dude, that's a great idea. Because you know what that's kind of like is people, you know, need like a tech detox, like be off their phone. And before I decided to go to Ukraine, I was like, I need to just get away, be off my phone, and just and I want to do that Vipassana. I think that's how you say it. Do you know what that is?
I don't think so.
It's a type of meditation, but they have these retreats, and there's actually you probably know quite a few comics who've done it. The ones that are like hardcore into meditation. But yeah, it's just sort of like just go detox your brain from all of this. So
I need it. My screen time's never been worse than post moving out here because I'm like underemployed and I have way too much time on my hands. And then when I am working, most of what I'm doing out here requires being on my phone or being on a computer. So I just feel more inundated than ever. And I look at my screen time and I'm like, this is embarrassing.
It's terrible. Yeah, it's so bad. And then like I try to do things where, I'll take Instagram off my phone and I'll try to like have my phone in another room. But then things happen where it's like, it's like, well, it's like I'm going to New York in a couple weeks. So I was like, okay, who do I know? Like, how do I get on some shows there? And then it's like, now I'm on Instagram all day because I can't just check a message. I have to check a message and watch 1, 2, 18 reels, and that's how it goes.
Yeah. And you need it because that's how you're getting booked for shows is everybody's DMing you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. They figured it out. They figured out how to just suck us in, know? Yeah, it's too bad, dude. Sometimes I daydream about creating like a society that's completely offline. Something probably exists like this.
The Amish.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, I'm going to create a new society. I'm going to call it the Schmamish. No, but
we don't have to have the beards, but we do everything else.
Yeah.
I make candles by hand.
Yeah. Yeah. They what's actually, I read the other day, what's become really popular is people having mail lists. Have you heard about that?
No.
So like the article is about this lady. She's a crossing guard and she previously worked as a graphic designer. And so she's a crossing guard and she started writing a letter every day that would just describe the clouds. And then I guess maybe I don't know if she had a Substack or how she did it, but there were people who signed up to get like a weekly letter from her describing the clouds. Yeah, doesn't that kind of sound nice? I actually woke up last night thinking about something similar. And I had to write it down because it's like, I want to just start writing letters to strangers, like just meeting people and be like, we don't know each other. There's no obligation, but I would love to just write you a letter because I used to feel so good when I was like away from home and I was in the army and I would get a letter. And then like a few years ago, I went through this shoebox of all these letters and I felt like such an ass. Because I never wrote anybody back and I had all these nice letters. So anyway, that would be a nice thing, right? Just a society where people mail each other letters.
I know. It's amazing how we can sit here and romanticize the most simple things. And it's like how I know my brain is getting so broken by how much tech I'm reliant on now that I'm like, for the love of God, send me to go make cornbread or something in a building with no Wi-Fi.
Right.
Like one of my favorite places on earth is Big Sur.
Okay.
And it's a really, really well-preserved national park in California.
Okay.
And they are so stringent about things being built in the area. There's no new construction allowed at all.
Oh, that's nice.
There's like not that many visible power lines. There's like no billboards anywhere, and they do not build anything new. Like what is there already is just what's there. And the Wi-Fi fucking sucks everywhere. So when you're going from place to place, you'll go from wherever you're staying down to where you can like get a meal, and it's just the 3 or 4 restaurants that are in town, and your phone basically doesn't work from one place to the next. And I think one of the reasons why it's been one of my favorite places to visit is because it forces me to be off my phone. And I'm like, what else can I integrate in my life that forces me to be off of my phone?
Yeah.
I'm just like needing it so badly.
Yeah. Yeah. There should be some kind of retreat or something. Yeah. I mean, it's like, it reminds me like people don't understand how good it was to like when I would come home, I graduated from high school and I would come home from the army and I had like, I still remember this little address book and I have all my friends' addresses and phone numbers, and I would just call up because nobody had cell phones.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh, somebody's mom called. Is Joey in town? No, Joey's not in town. Oh, okay. Well, tell him I'm in town. And then you just tell everybody you call to meet you at like Willie's Pool Hall in Montrose. And you go there at 8. Someone would show up. You would never know who's going to show up, you know?
Because no one can text you on my way.
Nobody can text, yeah. And it's like, honestly, if they don't show up, that's fine. Like it's kind of fun, you're there for an hour and then somebody shows up and you're like, oh my God, this guy, I haven't seen him in years. And it was, probably something about taking the expectation out of it, like not knowing exactly where everybody is at every moment. It made it like magic. Like I remember driving down the street. I had this huge jalopy car and I saw this girl that we were like really good friends in middle school. She was driving a huge jalopy car. We saw each other in traffic. We were both freaking out because we didn't follow each other on Instagram and Facebook. None of that stuff existed. We pulled over our huge jalopy cars and it was like, and then we ended up watching a play that night and playing basketball. And it was like such a like gift from the universe to run into old friends and catch up. And now it's like, oh yeah, no, I've been watching you on Instagram. You have a cat. Cool. I don't know. So I think what we should do, it's like in the book, Kurt Vonnegut, we'll stage a revolution. We'll destroy all the technology and then we'll just go live in the schmamish community. Yeah, let's do that.
Have you seen any of those little robots that I know are around town? I've only seen them online.
I've seen the Rizbot at Sunset. I saw that. There was the same type of thing going around. One of our neighbors is really into tech and he had that bot like trick or treating in our neighborhood. Yeah, it actually chased my daughter.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean it was kind of funny, but yeah, at some point those things are going to get pretty creepy.
Yeah, I feel like they're already creepy. I saw a video of one that was like a form of entertainment at this restaurant and it started spazzing out and like throwing food at everybody at the restaurant. And they were like trying to get it to chill out and everybody had to like wrangle this little entertainment robot.
Wow.
So it's already starting.
Yeah, and I heard they're starting to deploy or they're starting to like experiment with them in Ukraine, which is kind of weird. Like
that's the last thing the Ukrainians need.
Oh my God. It's just, yeah. I mean, that's a whole other weird topic, but like Ukraine is serving as like proving ground for a lot of like, war industries, which is weird. But yeah.
I wonder if that's why it's still going. I mean, shit, we're 4 years in now.
I mean, I don't know, maybe, but I feel like part of it, the reason it's still going is because Putin, there's just like wills, you know what I mean? Like if Zelensky concedes anything, then it's sort of like, then Putin just got like a land grab for nothing. It's like rewarding them for invading for no reason, So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's, I mean, I honestly don't see how it's going to end. I mean, I hope it ends and, maybe, I think it will, but I just don't know. I can't imagine. I'm not like a very geopolitically, savvy person, but it just doesn't seem like anybody's gonna, Putin just keeps slow walking everything. And I don't know.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I'm like, oh, and nobody's even talking about it anymore because like Gaza became like the hot new girlfriend.
No, yeah, we've gone through Gaza and then we've gone through, now we're in Iran and it's like, it's like everybody kind of forgets, so it's, God, what a weird time, huh? It's a really weird time and I don't know.
I can't remember the last time it wasn't weird though. The weirdness just keeps kind of escalating.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, to think that like there's a war, I don't know, like things are always weird. That's a fair point. But it just seems like they're getting weird and new and unexpected ways. I guess the AI to me is the only kind of really new, weird thing, right?
I won't take a Waymo.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't. I think they're like haunted. They're like little possessed demon cars.
Yeah, I'm always really suspect when there's people who not only take them, but enthusiastically take them.
Yeah, I mean, and I get like sometimes not wanting, like, you know, sometimes like a human driver makes things uncomfortable, you know, having to talk to them. But the thing that I think is like so disingenuous about all that is you would always hear all these tech CEOs talk about how AI is not going to take people's jobs. It's just going to change the type of jobs that there are. And it's like, how can you say that when everybody is literally building fleets of unmanned cars? You know, it's obvious, right? So I don't know.
The part that stresses me out about that too is that end game for them is to take away our car ownership. So less assets, less ownership. They just want us to have subscriptions for everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that subscription model is really a problem. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, not having your own car. Yeah. It is kind of weird. It feels like a weird kind of feudalism, right? Where it's like, well, it used to be that, you know, you owned a copy of the software, right? You had Microsoft Word or whatever. You used it and stored it on your own server. And now everything is you are paying for a subscription, a license to use it. At any point, your license could be revoked. You know, you could, the cost of doing it could, you know, skyrocket. And it feels like kind of a technological feudalism, right? Where it's
totally,
like, it's like, oh, yes, sir, I'll work your land that you own and I'll pay you for it. You know, there was something that had come out about like farmers. You know, it's like they buy these big John Deere tractors, but like the only way you can get a spark plug replaced is if you have the John Deere maintenance program. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they want you to just pay in perpetuity.
Right. And if you don't have that, then and you something comes, you know, is wrong with your truck and it's time to harvest your crops, you're just screwed. You just lose all those crops. So yeah. I don't know, man. Apocalypse, you know. Revolution. I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Do you meditate? We kind of.
I have not ever been good at that.
Okay.
But I went through a process of reading a lot of like Alan Watts.
Love Alan Watts.
Yeah. And there was a book. I bought like 10 copies of this book and I was like passing out copies to everybody. It's Still the Mind. It's like a little tiny paperback. But like my sort of form of meditating is I would take a thought or something a lot of times in that book and I would just sort of like sit somewhere quietly and just think about it, you know. Like one of my favorites ones is like how like that like we're all just like portals by which the universe experiences itself.
Love that. That's
love it.
So meta.
Yeah.
That's such a mushroom thought.
It is. I mean, you know, Portobello, lion's mane, but yeah, that's the only really mushrooms I've had. But yeah, those type of thoughts that kind of get you out of your head, but that's kind of my form of it.
Are you pretty good at staying on top of like mental health maintenance?
I've gotten a lot better. I was terrible at it. You know, pretty much what I would do through my life from like the military into medicine was like stuff builds up and then like major depressive episode, you know, and then stuff builds up. And I've kind of realized as I've gotten older, like the importance of just sort of off venting, you know, as you go along and prioritizing and, you know, like being aware of what gives your life meaning and making sure you take care of those things first.
Well, I love that. That's a great place to wrap it up.
All right.
Jeremy, if people want to learn more about what you're doing, where can they find you?
I guess just Instagram, the Jeremy Jonas.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for doing the show today.
Well, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Of course. And thank you everybody for listening. Bye.